and Lucy every game.
Yeah, I think the double snail play, we did get that in all of the games against No Style and No Balls yesterday, and we had them immediately coming out from Drachir. The interesting thing, though, is No Style No Balls, they're playing Greed.
Yeah.
Well, they neither have style nor balls. I don't see any chaos there, so...
No Style is correct, by the way, because look at this, a disgusting lack of monuments in both lanes.
I mean,
Oh, wow.
0 monuments is kind of stylish.
And meanwhile, we've got the double golden statues for Drachir and Lucy.
That is pretty amazing.
Pretty.
You do see YOLO from Drachir, probably looking towards that cat start. Yeah, there it goes.
Yeah. He's got a pretty nice YOLO roll, to be honest. I think the Nekomata and the Poliwag are basically the only units that you need for like the first 7 waves of the game.
Yeah, just about. You got the Disciple over the top there, too.
Problem with the Disciple is that he doesn't really have anything to go with it, apart from more Disciples.
Yeah.
Maybe the Pilgrim, but like... Pilgrim heal becomes pretty relevant once you start to get a Starcaller online.
I mean, that's true. I think the Disciple is kind of self-sufficient, though. Like, a Starcaller surrounded by 6 Disciples is insane amounts of damage.
Yeah, that's true.
And here's the double snails, and here's No Style No Balls preparing for it. We even have a Peewee added in No Balls lane.
Yeah,
Make sure that he doesn't leak with the Oathbreaker. Alright, so No Style No Balls winning the mind games on wave 1, I think we can say.
Yeah. See what Jules has to say after this. I guess we can talk a little bit more about the rules here, looking at No Style with the Bounty Hunters start. Looking very weak on 13 is typically that first weak wave of the Kingpin.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, it's pretty weak on 6 as well, if...
Yeah, they're both actually looking fairly weak on 6, because we've got the Angler for No Style, and like his best answer would probably be to try and get a Priestess out somehow for wave 6. No Balls, like his role is actually really weak for 6. Again, he would need to get the Priestess as his only real unit there.
Yeah, but you need such a specific positioning for Priestess to be good at 6.
Pretty hard, right? Like, if you're building backwards into the Priestess as well, like if you have it as an opener, that's one thing, you can build around it. But when you have to like backwards fill into a Priestess to try and hold wave 6, I think that's quite difficult.
I don't like Drachir sending 2 snails here. I mean, you're not breaking the Bounty Hunter anyway, so you might as well send the turtle and give 1 less stack. I know it's not...
true.
I know it's not the biggest thing in the world, but...
Minor differences.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is going to be an easy hold, obviously, for No Style. He gets the Veteran here, so he's absolutely no chance of leaking there. And of course, No Balls with no send is going to be fine. We do see No Balls already putting the pressure on Drachir. He's got 65 Mythium in the bank, so he's only done that King up on 1, now into save for whenever. But Drachir, he's just really, really strong, at least until wave 6 or 7. He's just not going to leak, right?
Oh, not with the cat and the... Well, it's not going to be a Seraphim for wave 4, though.
I assume he just turns it into a Devilfish now for the tank value. You could even think about adding like a Wanderer. No, he goes straight for the Pilgrim. So now he's just amazing on wave 4 and 5.
But he needs to remember to, like, the Seraphim is so much worse, I think, than Devilfin.
Yeah, agreed. 100% agreed. That should be a Devilfish. But he doesn't get a send, so he's not going to be punished.
No. And he's only tanking 2 mobs here, so it's perfect.
Lucy, pretty comfortably gonna hold this 80. See if she goes to 7 or 8 workers.
Oh, this Atom. Look at this Atom! 10 HP. Okay, she still leaks.
It didn't kill anything.
Yeah. That was pretty hype, though. I was excited.
Yeah.
Alright,
And
here
she
comes
does
the
go for the
Bruiser.
brute.
Now this might actually be dangerous against NoGreed because remember he still hasn't spent any Mythium apart from that king up on wave 1, so NoGreed's starting to get starved a little bit himself.
Oh wow, yeah.
You
see the brute and the snail coming out.
Yeah,
but it's a pretty strong wave, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's fully on value. I expect he'll go straight 7 after this.
Yeah, and that might be pretty dangerous for Drachir, honestly.
Oh, the brute added last second for Drachir to no style.
Drachir has re-rolled now as well, by the way. So he's got a mana user for his disciple in that Lord of Death, and he has the Tempest as well to give those Lord of Death dragons extra damage, which is a pretty nice synergy.
Look at the Oathbreaker damage from No Balls. 1600 damage.
That's some good damage from a 95 gold unit.
It had more damage per gold than the Daphne.
But he actually sends on 6. We were pretty sure that this was going to be a wave 7 send. And I kind of think this is a mistake. Like, Drachir might even just hold this.
With the Disciple, is the Devilfish taking, Desert Pilgrim providing a lot of extra
he ups the split with the Polywog.
The Devilfish is just such a good tank on wave 6 as well, it's going to live forever.
Yeah.
And Lucy got to her canopy as well.
Yeah, so Lucy's never leaking here. Especially not against an income send, that should be a free hold for her. And let's have a quick zoom into Drachir's lane to see if this 160 Mythium send achieves anything or not.
That heal just misses the Devilfish there.
That's kind of big, and now he's going to die before getting another heal.
Oh, and the cat and the Disciple are focusing two different things.
Okay, so there will be a leak in Drachir's
lane.
But
it's a 45, no, it's not even.
Does he kill the last Rocco? Oh, he doesn't! Oh. That's so close.
3 HP.
That is terrible.
Yeah, I think Drachir is pretty happy with that, right? He's been starved from wave 1 until wave 6, and he leaks a Brute, a Rocco, and a Lizard. I'm pretty sure he's happy with that.
No balls. Finally pushed 1 worker.
Amazing.
Yeah, the left team has a pretty decent worker advantage.
Yeah. Jules only gives them a 3% edge, which I'm not sure that I agree with.
Yeah.
Yeah, both of them playing overvalue.
But I think fighter value is being valued too high in the score-wise.
Yeah,
early
maybe,
game.
Right? Nice. Sunglasses.
Very nice.
Perfect.
I think it's kind of okay for No Style to be playing overvalue though, because he is playing bounty hunters, so you kind of turn that overvalue into power spike, round wave.
Yeah, definitely.
Very true. I'm kind of curious, when do you guys think that No Style, No Balls aim next?
I don't know, like, it almost has to be 11 with the PTA, but then there's Divine Blessing available, which is possibly the best defensive spell in the whole game, like as just an emergency, I need to hold this wave right now button.
I mean, there's nothing else that gives you quite the value.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we also see just, Pilgrims already on Drachir's side. We also know that he has the LOD. We see that Lucy has a Pilgrim as well. These are units that are very powerful on 11 regardless.
Yeah, true.
Lucy is looking really weak on
12? No. Okay, they answer our question. Here's the sends on 9.
But have you seen Lucy for 9? Lucy has nothing.
And she has gates.
Yeah.
She'll need to income send for it, but Gate is amazing on 9.
That's true, but Gate is the only melee unit apart from the Canopy.
He just rerolled, Kid. That's very good. I'm sure Lucy's very happy with that reroll, especially when she has pretty much perfect gold to get it down on the board as well.
Yeah. Well, Drachir does a little pawn shop, gets out a full Samurai Soul.
Yeah. So Drachir with that Samurai Soul should do pretty fine. He's only getting another 160 send, which is the same he got on wave 6, by the way.
They are respecting the sends though, doing some king ups.
Yep.
Yeah. I think if they hold this fully, they're in a very good spot.
Drachir and Lucy are both basically on value as well.
The cat is tanking too much though.
Have a look at Lucy's wave. This is some really nice split tanking. We do have the Smurf Atom surviving on 12%.
The hero Smurf. Oh wow, the hero
that
Atom.
Smurf, that is so big. That's just going to be a hold now.
Just barely
or is the brute? The brute slays
leaking a brute at less than half HP.
Yeah, that's pretty incredible. That was 180 Lithium Send there on Lucy's lane.
Those are some amazing holds.
I think we'll see them stay just at 11 or 12 workers, probably take battle scars and go straight 13 from here.
Is there ever a chance for no style, no balls to get some damage in on 12? Like, if we look at Lucy's lane, I think she looks very weak there, although she does have the bunk that she hasn't shown yet.
Mm-hmm.
Drachir is going Tempest now. I don't know how hard he'll commit to that, but Tempest is the ultimate 12 killer, right?
Tempest is insane on 12, yeah.
And he has the Samurai Soul for tanking.
Mm-hmm.
Right, everyone kind of chilling out for now. And we do see No Style starting to cash in on that Kingpin power spike. So the first one is down, he's at the top of the board on power score. Presumably he upgrades the next one on wave 11. Give himself another power spike.
I could see him...
double press the attack, so maybe they do aim for 12.
He ups it here.
Yeah. I think the 12 send looked really good against Lucy's board last wave, and I also think they're going to be a little bit disappointed when they see this banana bunk.
Yeah. Oh, but here's LOD. So Drachir not looking the best on 12.
Yeah, LOD is definitely not what you want on wave 12. Like, it's amazing on wave 11, right? But it's just not quite as good on wave 12. He at least has the tank. The Samurai Soul lives forever, and presumably will upgrade the Leviathan. A Divine Blessing and the Lord of Death?
I hardly disagree with that.
Yeah, that seems pretty bad to me.
It doesn't gain any tank value, and you're basically only buffing half a unit with the damage because it has
because most of its damage is in the dragon, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Particularly when it's buffed by the Leviathan.
I guess it's just maybe Drachir is feeling the pressure and is just saying, I need this power spike right now. It almost doesn't matter what I use it on.
Oh, what's going on with no balls?
It's a very slow clear, I think.
But he's holding.
Yeah. It's a shame this wasn't overwork with such a long wave.
Yeah. I'm curious, Lucy and Drachir could maybe read this and income King and then just aim 15 instead, but I do think they're strong enough.
Oh, but here's at least a Leviathan and another Tempest.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised to see a huge leak from both sides, though. This is a pretty large send.
Yeah, and I am a little bit surprised that Lucy and Drachir saved past this. They're not strong here, even with, because this is a double bunk, is just nowhere near the same power level as a single Haven.
Oh.
Yeah.
So I think this Ogre Mole send might just run over Lucy's lane. And Drachir is super low value as well.
I'm amazed they up King attack here, but I guess they...
It's probably to kill the ogres.
Yeah.
This is really bad split from Drachir as well. I don't know if he's
getting destroyed. He doesn't even get the second summon on his Lord of Death. And his Samurai Soul is just doing DPS. Oh dear, this is bad.
Yeah, this is not well played.
The one thing I'll say for Drachir and Lucy is that they will survive this, I think. They're going to take a ton of damage. And they did save, so now they have the pressure advantage. They both have 300 Mythium, they have more workers, and they do decide to go for a wave 13 counterattack.
Yeah, I think this is a mistake as well. I think they had to just overbuild and try to aim 15 now.
Yeah.
They kind of blocked themselves.
Well, I mean, yeah, but they can also just go 13 into 15.
Yeah, I don't know if that 13 into 15 is going to work out as effectively as 12 into 15 and just holding, but we'll see.
Yeah, they could have incomed into 12, that's right.
Look at this though, No Style is 200 over value, and No Ballz is only minus 120 when he decides to finish building.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
They
No
do
Style
have
is
terrible units.
it's the Kingpin value, that's...
Yeah, the Kingpin's pretty bad value for sure. This Millennium very nearly ran it down, by the way. I was kind of worried that that was going to get obliterated by the wave.
I mean, it dies here.
It dies here, but it nearly died before anything else.
Yeah, that would have been completely horrible. Now it's just terrible.
Back at No Styles lane, the Kingpins are going down, and as soon as the Kingpin dies, all of these Sea Dragons become pretty much worthless, right? Because their spell just doesn't do anything anymore.
Yeah. Drachir leaking 4 golems.
Well, that's a 50 gold shutdown. And they didn't go for any king attack, so they're going to take a ton of damage here themselves. Yeah. Here also leaking to the single Dino send.
No Ballz has not pushed at all since this send.
Yeah. So that indicates they want to save and go a bit longer. Maybe for a wave 15 or 16 play. 16 looks very juicy against Lucy and Drachir.
Yeah. But they also saved for the most part. They only sent 80. So they do have a big pressure advantage. They can kind of count on 15 coming out, either income or full.
Exactly. And this is where the Priestess that we talked about is going to come into play, right? Because the boards which don't look amazing on 15 for both No Style and No Ballz are going to have Azarias out of nowhere. I almost think that No Style should just hide this.
Yeah, I agree.
He doesn't need it here to be able to hold on 14, I think.
Oh, a single Priestess
Both of them
does.
show it, actually.
A single Priestess does nothing. But on the other hand...
That's suicided. Sorry,
it can be really nice to see, well, how the wave reacts to the Priestess being down.
Yeah.
Yeah, Drachir is probably going to leak this and continue to push fully.
Yep. And I think No Style and No Ballz, they have to read this. Because if they see that Drachir has suicided, they've got to send on 15.
Oh, Drachir is super strong here though, right?
Yeah, he's going to hold.
Revive.
This is a really clutch play actually from Drachir, because if they send here, they do send, okay. I almost thought that they were going to suicide into no send.
Drachir only sent a turtle.
Yeah, he's going for a post-income Shaman. I think he just didn't have quite enough Mythium for the Shaman, maybe?
No, he had enough for the Shaman.
No, he's going to add a Kraken.
He's going for a Kraken!
Yeah. Which I actually think is a bit of a mistake. I think that Shaman plus DTs is probably best in the double Kingpin regardless.
Yeah, right?
Nah, he's respecting the Assyria too much.
And we do have the double Aziria on No Style No Ballz lane, and now we have a million Peewees as well for No Ballz.
Yeah. And if you notice, No Style sends, but No Ballz continues to save. Oh,
he's sending after
income. So they were a bit lost there for a second.
Yeah,
on income.
A little bit delayed decision making there for No Style No Ballz, potentially hurting them because they would have loved to get that income before the wave, right?
Yeah. And the Kraken is already down.
It is going to be a raise here.
Here, obviously leaking heavily with his suicide play. Huh? But No Ballz is holding, like, comfortably. I think this probably just wins the game for them.
Yeah, that's definitely...
Because Lucy leaks. Wow, so even despite sending post-income for No Style No Ballz, they did make the correct decision there to send after income, and it was the game-winning one.
Yeah, and unfortunately that send from Lucy was just not quite correct. Going for the 4 eyes into the Peewee spam is never quite what you want to see on 15.
What an up and down game this was. Let's have a quick look through some of the waves. So we had those Snail on 1 with No Style No Ballz, obviously famous for their Fiesta play. So they realise that, and they know that they have the tell. So they both build against Snails. They get the 6 gold, the 3 gold advantage, which is lovely for them. We move a little bit further into the game. There's a small leak from Lucy on 4 against an 80 send, which I think is very fine. And then this big send against Drachir on 6. Now, I'm pretty certain that this just favours Drachir and Lucy, because it's 160 Mythium send, and he just leaked very, very small.
Yeah, definitely.
And at this point, they have a really big worker advantage, right?
They were favoured right up until wave 12, at least. I guess wave 11... Drachir was too scared for wave 11, so he added the Lord of Death, which was then pretty dead value on 12.
And then they just took so much damage on 12, right? So this big play from No Style, No Balls, the PTA, big send on 12, Drachir and Lucy, they had some good units there, but they just didn't have enough value in those units. Like, I think if Lucy has a full Haven instead of 2 small bunks, this maybe goes a bit differently. But...
Well, a full Haven is quite a bit more expensive than 2 bunks, though.
Oh, of course, yeah, it's a ton more expensive, but maybe a different build path would have got her there, right?
Yeah, I think trying to hide the bunk. But yeah,
it's just the difference of not seeing the income 12 in the 15 line as opposed to trying to force the 13.
Yeah.
I mean, they did 74% damage on 13.
Yeah, but they lost the game on 12, right?
Yeah, that's true.
I think Wave 13 kind of equalised things, other than the fact that, of course, Drachir leaks really big to a dino there. So if he wasn't out of the game before, he certainly was after leaking like 67% to an income send.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to realize that No Ballz was on 11 workers, but maybe if Drachir hadn't spent... well, what was that? That's almost 1,000 gold on workers. He could have held 15.
Maybe, yeah. Maybe. But I think it was a good call from Drachir and Lucy to go for that suicide play, because it probably was their best chance to win. The only problem is that No Style and No Balls, they did make the right decision. They made it late, and that did hurt them. They sent post-income, but they made the right decision. They went for those sends on wave 15, and that ended up winning the game for them. So that was a pretty cool one. Pretty cool. And I think we need to hop into the next lobby now. But that was an exciting game. Yeah. I think we definitely have to say this was a bit of an upset, right? Because Drachir and Lucy have a massive elo advantage over No Style and No Balls.
Yeah, definitely.
But these guys, they're just performing pretty well, I think. And I'd love to see what happens in Game 2 now, because remember, Drachir and Lucy, they need to clean sweep if they want to make it through to the finals. So they can't afford to lose one more game. But No Style and No Balls, they do have that advantage, and I'd love to see these guys making it through to the finals. Do you think they've got a chance?
Yeah, I think they're going to win this next game as well. I think that Lucy and Drachir really did not handle well with the mid-game calls there, unless something dramatic changes. I don't know.
I've seen No Style and No Balls. They always bring out some wacky strategies, and they can be hard to deal with. And if they've prepared for a tournament game, they might just.
I think what I would love to see actually is No Style No Balls now going back to their roots and whipping out some kind of Fiesta gameplay. And remember, it's Conquest format, so they're not allowed to play Greed this time around.
Mm-hmm.
But I also think they kind of have the... well, and they do. So
Fiesta
there is No Balls with
Pixies.
the Fiesta, No Style with the Cartel. And you know what? Because they won that kind of mind game in Game 1 with taking the snails and just... And building for it, knowing that they were going to get them. Maybe Drachir and Lucy are too scared now to send the snails in Game 2. And that could just be absolutely perfect. What's also worth pointing out, not only is No Balls playing Fiesta, but he has the Pixie, which is just the perfect unit to play Fiesta
That's
with.
disgusting.
Yeah, it's so strong. The power level is crazy.
I wouldn't be surprised to see if Drachir rerolls on 1 here.
Yeah, his role is not amazing, right?
Well,
what do you think about choosing YOLO in your elimination game here?
He has the Yozora. I could see it working.
Yeah.
You go Yozora in the consort. That's your line.
Yeah.
Pilgrim on 5. Yeah, I can see it, I guess. You're super weak on 7.
Oh, he just full rerolled already. And his reroll is completely different. He's playing your favourite unit, Skovtrold. He's got the Gatling gun.
Oh yeah.
Very playable.
Strongest unit in the game.
Oh, there's the snails. They're not scared. This time it's going to be a good play for Drachir and Lucy.
Yeah. And it's gonna take forever for the flower to clear.
Yeah. But this is actually still great for no style. Like when you get snailed in your flower cartel build, you're pretty happy. You're enjoying life at this moment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely.
Should be 3-6 workers.
Yeah. 50% leak on no balls. Well. He's completely fine with that. Thing is, if he goes for a second pixie on wave 2, that holds against no send now. So he needs to know this, and Drachir and Lucy need to know this as well. So will Lucy snail, or will no balls build something that isn't a pixie?
I think if she gets it in income, she's almost certainly sending.
Oh, the flower dies.
She hasn't yet.
And she doesn't. So Lucy knows that the double pixie no longer leaks wave 2. And because his pixies are opposite sides like this, I think they actually both survive.
Yeah, I'm not certain what double pixie I haven't seen it yet.
This is actually really bad for the Fiesta player to hold wave 2 with pixies, because obviously you're not just losing that Fiesta. Oh, that's a brute on 2! That's a brute on 2! Holy moly!
And Drachir did add 50.
Yeah, so he did, but the brute is just crushing, no?
Yeah, but if you leak the brute on 2, how bad is it?
Wow. He's actually doing insanely well.
You still clear the wave.
Yeah.
Sure, you don't get the gold from the brute, but you still get some of it, and it's only 15 gold.
I mean, this brute is still going to do like 10% damage to the kit.
Yeah. Well,
brute on 2, boys. Pretty strong.
You're probably okay with that.
Now Drachir's on 6 workers, and yeah, so both of these survived for no balls, and that means he only has 20 Mythium here.
That's unfortunate because Drachir would leak pretty hard to a 40.
Yeah.
There's no send here, and he has the cursed casket.
Yeah. So
are they just going? Are they going 5?
You know, this one at least is going to die this time around, I think.
Will it? Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. So it's pretty important that at least one of them dies, because if not, that's just super bad for the Fiesta player.
And no style, since he's cartel, was able to go for the veteran and still get this guy.
Wow. I mean, he's receiving a dino, but he's 445 value on wave 4. Yeah. I think he's going to do okay.
I mean, he is partnered up with the Fiesta player, so he has to be a bit overvalued, right?
Yeah, for sure. But Lucy, recognizing this, making full advantage, has 7 workers herself.
Yeah. And Nobles decides to shift.
Interesting.
So, kind of losing the mind games this early one.
Yeah.
Oh, and the casket.
Be a really big leak, actually, because it's not going to get a second spell. 125% for no balls. But silver lining, at least his pixies died, you know?
Yeah.
It's a great
but the Sky Queen, does it just hold here?
I think so, right? It's already ramped up. The DPS is pretty high. Spin to win.
Yeah.
Sky Queen, I think, is probably the best unit in the game on wave 4.
It definitely has to be, because it 3-shots perfectly and has the right armor and armor type.
Yeah.
No style, 8 workers, Lucy, 8 workers, Drachir, and Nobles, 6 apiece. But we need these things to die, and I think with Nobles on 430 value, we're going to see some living pixies again.
Yeah.
So kind of making wrong decisions.
There's the downgrade. That's 2 pixies now. Heading at Buckler instead.
He might leak the boss here.
And both pixies attack the boss, that's enough to kill it.
Yeah.
Alright, imps on 6 for Nobles in Drachir. I like it. He's got a lot of natural flesh.
But actually,
curious to see what he adds.
The one pixie survives because the pixies have so much damage now.
Yeah. Even with 395 value, it's just enough. The magic damage is pretty high. Okay,
and Lucy gets to her orchid, so she's full holding easily.
Yeah, she's holding easily. No Style recognises that, only sending income here. Drachir does get his Violet out. Very good unit on wave 6. But the Imps is a pretty solid send, so interesting to see whether we see a leak here or not.
I think with both the Antler and the Violet.
Yeah.
It should be enough, right? I mean, he's on 680 value here, so yeah. I think he's going to be disappointed if he leaks badly.
But he will be leaking, I think.
The gun sniping the Imps now. Second one goes down. I think
that's a hold. That's a hold.
Well, Lucy kind of messed up her aggro, it looks like.
Oh, she's fine.
She'll probably not die like this.
Fine. And NoGreedBallz leaking just 33% against 100 send himself. He's very happy with that as a Fiesta player.
Yeah, that's exactly what you want.
Pixie's dying.
He just missed a spellcast on the Disciple there too from leaking 17%.
Did Drachir and Lucy need the money here? Yeah, that's probably
Lucy's going for a brew.
I think Lucy wants to get a bit of a leak out of NoGreedBallz on this wave. NoGreedBallz, it looks like, did upgrade the Cage of Pain there, so I think he's going to do pretty fine. Oh wait, no, he's changing his mind. This is where the mind games come into it, right? Because NoGreedBallz wants to underbuild to try and Fiesta, and Lucy's trying to catch him off guard. And it looks like Lucy wins the mind games this time around.
If you mouse over the bottom left there, you can see that NoGreedBallz's Fiesta gameplay has actually been perfectly even.
Oh, nice.
Earned 58 and lost 58.
I think we might see that change this round.
Yeah, just a bit.
69%, nice. But again,
I suspect.
No Style's going to clean up pretty much all of this with his high damage Sky Queen in the mid. So they're not really going to take any king damage, maybe a little bit.
Lucy's going to income again. And No Style's just going to eat this up because they're going to be adding that banana bunk.
Alright. And the starve is really going on there for No Style and NoGreedBallz. Never mind, NoGreedBallz does not go for the bunk. Instead, he's just spamming these pixies. This actually might be very good for him because he might end up leaking here against the income send. And in the best case scenario, 5 pixies die, and that's 30 bonus Mythium.
Now, if you're in No Style, NoGreedBallz shoes, are you aiming 9 or are you aiming 11 with All Out Assault or the giant snails there?
Let me take a quick look. So we'll keep the camera over NoGreedBallz lane and we'll have a look at Drachir and Lucy builds there. So I think Drachir is too strong on 9. I don't think they want to go there. And knowing how much these guys love to starve, I think they... Okay, every time I come up with a theory, they just immediately prove me wrong. Here comes the way 9 mimic sense.
Yes, of course. That's the caster curse.
Yeah.
Yeah, Drachir is strong, but Lucy is weak. And the double imp against...
Look at this, by the way. So, No Style was scared on wave 8 and actually spent 20 gold boosting his veteran, which is 20 gold he's never going to see again because Drachir just goes for an income send on 9. Now, we should see No Style holding that with his death cap. He should be perfectly fine. But, I mean, Drachir, he has a hardened golem, an antler, and a violet. Like, he's just...
There's no 3 hardened golems
here, right?
Yeah. I would have loved to see an ogre instead of just double in, especially after you see the first Mudman on 8.
I think like a Ghost Knight would have been perfect, but I don't know if NoGreedBallz had enough Mythium free income to send that. Probably not.
No, I think he had just above, like maybe 220.
And this Mimic, by the way, just getting obliterated by Lucy's bunk.
Oh, that's rip.
Yeah. This is a bit of a failed send now for No Style and NoGreedBallz.
Yeah,
NoGreedBallz leaking 50% himself to the Fiend, but he's fine with that, I think.
He shifted almost 200 gold.
Yeah. Even Lucy holds here.
I think what they're much less fine with is the fact that Drachir and Lucy hold their big star play here. This is just going to put Lucy and Drachir really comfortably in the lead, I think.
Yeah. It's probably 11 all-out assault next, but I think no style, no balls probably just want to try to live through that, so they might income here.
I kind of wish that they just saved all the way to 11, honestly. Like, even without seeing Drachir's Mudmen, the units he had on the board were already really strong for Wave 9, right? He had the Antler, he had the Violet. So even without showing those hardened Mudmen, I think he was already just too strong Wave 9, and they probably should have gone straight 11 with the all-out.
But to be honest, I think the real alternative was send Wave 10 after you see the triple Mudmen already weak, and he'll be hardening them on there.
And when you see a Mudman being put down on 8, you know that they're preparing for 9. So you do the mind game and figure out, hey, they're preparing for 9. That might be a...
Go ahead.
That might be a weakened Mudman or even a Golem or something on 10.
Now there is a resend hoping to catch Lucy and Drachir off guard. Lucy is not, she holds that very comfortably. NoGreedBallz again fiestering the 41% to income. But Drachir at least does leak, and that is a 25 gold shutdown. Yeah. But that's something now for the no-style duo.
Lucy has 2 disciples, so the boss is just going to go down really quickly.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, we are going to see Cartel downside right here. Going from 171 income to 135.
Yeah. This game should be, and I know I bring up the Caster's Curse now, but this game should be in the bag for Drachir and Lucy.
Maybe. They still have to get through 13. That will be the next problem.
I think you can never really count out the Fiesta Pixie player. When they're just generating a bonus like 30 Mythium every wave, especially when they're getting Fiesta Gold on top, it's just such a strong combo. But yeah, I agree, they need to pull out something special now.
Yeah, but with the Cartel kicking back now and...
Yeah.
The Cartel only really brings him even with Drachir, right? Because Drachir only has 138.
Yeah, that's true. But Drachir has 14 workers and Lucy has 17 and... No Style has 13. I suppose Ballz has 13 workers and 5 pixies. But
the pixies start to fall off, right? So the Mythium that they give early game is insane, but once those workers start ramping post wave 10, the pixies definitely fall off in comparison.
So now it probably takes 3 pixies to make up for 1 worker.
Right, exactly.
During a full wave.
And Drachir just staying very high value, knowing that their one weakness really is wave 13. So I like the fact that he goes for this white main here, presumably goes for more violets or Yazoras or something like that on wave 13. And Lucy, who has the Orchid already on the board, is actually not too shabby there herself. Oh yeah, nice. She even shifts 160 gold. Knowing how strong she is on wave 12, I think that's a very good call.
Yeah.
Hide some value.
Oh, and Drachir and Lucy also goes here, because they need the value.
Everybody goes here.
Everyone goes on 13, and No Style looks very weak there. And NoGreedBallz also looks very weak on most waves.
There is the Halo, but it's not going to be enough.
Halo out of nowhere is definitely something. Problem is he has 400 of his value in Sky Queens, which does nothing for tanking for the Halo.
Yeah, and 720 in... or just 700 in Haven.
Yeah, which is just the worst possible unit on wave 13 with Pierce Fortified types.
Yeah,
the nice thing is that Drachir kind of incorrectly read what the big unit that No Style was going to put out here and went double 4 eyes instead of anything that was good against the Haven. But, sorry, not the Haven. Sorry.
I think Drachir, when he sees a board like this, minus the Halo, that was just looking very weak on 13, he's sending against things like Phoenix and Sovereign because he thinks those are like the worst case outcomes.
Yeah.
Look how easy Lucy holds this.
Wow. No Style, no Balls, 72% and 83%, and Drachir, sure, he leaks, but that's only 67. Lucy will fully cover that in the mid. Meanwhile, we're going to see a decent chunk of king damage done on the side of No Style, no Balls.
I wonder if like 8 turtles had just been better against
Against No Style? Possibly, yeah. But again, Drachir had no idea that he was hiding the Halo, right?
It's hard to read
against Lucy.
Against Lucy. Maybe.
What was this end? I missed it.
It was 4-Eye and Hermit.
I see.
You know there's the Orchid. So, I mean, an Orchid without anything, there needs to be at least 2 turtles, right?
Yeah.
Because otherwise the Orchid just kills a golem on its own, basically.
But now we have 20% King HP remaining on the right-hand side, and Jules is giving Drachir and Lucy a 76% chance to win this one. Look at this, Lucy, 125 gold shutdown. How often do you see that in a ranked game?
Not at wave 14.
Yeah. And I think No Style, No Balls almost have to go for some kind of suicide play.
Yeah, I suspect they'll probably income King here.
I think.
Unless they think.
I wonder where's the rogue wave actually.
I think they just die on 15, right?
Yeah,
like these sends are enormous. Yeah. Drachir is going for a suicide play. 30 workers.
I don't think that's a suicide. I think it's just.
No Style is counter-suiciding, but the thing is, they're reacting, whereas Drachir and Lucy are proactive. So the fact that they got the suicide underway first, No Style pushes those workers that much later, generates that much less Mythium, and Lucy, with her 3.5k value when she finishes building, I think is almost guaranteed to hold longer than No Balls. Or No Balls is even selling his unit. Just to spam caskets. Okay, I like the play. So No Balls just building for pure delay, selling all of those seedlings and turning it into arcane armor, knowing he has no chance to hold.
Unfortunately, I think the best play would have been to spam the 15 gold unit as opposed to the 100 gold unit.
Maybe, yeah.
See, there are the turtles.
There are the turtles. And against Lucy as well.
But I mean, now there's a rogue wave on top of the Starcaller plus the 6.
So much ability damage, right? No Style leaks 145%, of course. No Balls is delaying for a long time, but I don't think he's going to hold.
It's not enough when Lucy holds.
Lucy does full hold with half, like a decent chunk of value left alive. Yeah, with No Balls leaking
the king takes damage if the game goes on long enough, I think.
Yeah. Victory. Wow. So Drachir and Lucy not happy to lose 2-0 in their semi-final, bringing it back with the first of 2 games they need to secure a place in the finals. No Style, No Balls, now 1-1 against possibly one of the tournament favourites. And this was a pretty... this game felt a lot more one-sided for Drachir and Lucy, I think. The first game felt pretty close at times, although No Style, No Balls obviously had the pressure lead. This game, Drachir and Lucy kind of felt like they were in the lead right from the start, especially when, we saw this Wave 2 Brute from No Balls, and Drachir basically just full held. I think from that point onwards, Drachir just had such a good position in the game.
If not from Wave 2, then from Wave 4, when No Balls leaked 125%.
Yeah, right.
Pretty sure he killed a snail. Yeah, he killed a snail and then leaked everything else.
Yes.
No Balls and No Style kind of missed every single coin flip, Getting snailed on 1, maybe not a coin flip in this specific matchup, but then the Brute on 2 obviously fails that coin flip. Drachir just adds 2 Peewees. And then on wave 4 decides to shift 100 gold. If that casket is upgraded, then he's leaking, maybe just the double DT, I think it is. And that looks great for them. And then on wave 6, Drachir obviously hard reads that and sells his Peewee. If they just go 7 there, he's going to struggle greatly with just this huge natural defense there.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And then
also
on wave 9 when he sees the triple medley.
Yeah.
No Balls leaked from 6 to 10.
Yeah, those were all pretty good leaks for them. Just because it builds up the Mythium and pressure advantage, and of course he's actually not losing any gold from those leaks, so that does give Lucy and Drachir a slight boost to their economy.
I think if there's one big turning point, other than like the wave 2 and the wave 4, got to be this wave 9, right? Like, no style and no balls. They were putting a bit of a starve on. They get these, and they are big sends on mine, but Drachir was just so strong there with his antler, with his violets, and then, of course, the triple hardened Mudman just meant there was no way he's ever leaking there. And yeah,
and there's Lucy, they send Swift, or sorry, Pierce damage into a banana bunk.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, the bunk was hidden until 9, but you just don't want to send extra Pierce damage, because you know that, like, either it's coming a fortified tank or a natural tank. It just has to come at...
Yeah.
For sure.
But it's like I said, you know, maybe they were forced to feel like this because No Style wasn't going to hit his death cap on 9, but I think if they really were able to skip 9 and then either go 10 or 11, where these weaknesses become so much more pronounced from Lucy and Drachir, and they start getting to play around with aggressive Legion spells, this game looks very different.
But like, No Style could have sent Hermit Mole at least, which would also have been really good against the Fire Elemental, and then added a Dragon Turtle, because you really want something to counter that Orchid, at least.
Yeah, on wave 9. I just think sending wave 9 at all is a bit of a mistake for me.
Alright, Drachir is telling us that he wants to get into game number 3, so we should probably hop into the lobby.
Yeah.
It certainly felt like a very difficult mid to late game for the No Style No Balls duo after that failed wave 9 send. It felt like the game was pretty much won already for Drachir and Lucy, and things just went downhill fairly quickly from there.
But now there's no YOLO for Drachir, and was it Greed for Lucy?
I think it was Greed for Lucy, yeah.
And I think we'll see Castle and Greed.
What are we going to see?
Will we see more Fiesta shenanigans from No Style No Balls, or are they going to try and mix it up again?
I definitely predict at least one Fiesta. Oh, Chaos!
Chaos from No Style, oh dear.
I think we have to remove the No from Style.
And we see Cartel. So Lucy, despite disagreeing with me that Cartel is good into a start, has picked Cartel into probably the startest game she will face.
Yeah, I can see No Style not starting with the Fist, since they've been getting a snail on 1 both games. But otherwise, I would definitely love to see him just go Chain Fist YOLO. Or Chain Fist Chaos, since YOLO is a roll.
Drachir has an excellent Flying Force roll. Lucy playing with Gun, going to be very easily hitting her Wild Stream. Regularly, you can't hit 95 gold playing Gun on wave 3, which is the breakpoint needed to get Wild Stream as well as 5 workers. But this will favor her greatly. No Style opting for a strong Pierce range unit with his first Chaos roll. I think that's an intelligent decision. And no Ballz, looking at a 4-worker banana bunk start on his Cartel.
Yeah. Now, if I look at these rolls, the one thing that really screams out to me is that Drachir absolutely sucks on wave 4. Like, how is he ever holding like a double DT send on 4? He just doesn't, right?
Yeah. I think Pack Rats can provide some pretty good value on wave 4 with the Swift armor, but...
I mean, decent HP, I guess, but again, 0 damage.
Yeah, I agree. He will struggle there.
And worth pointing out as well, we did get a repeat of the Game 1 mind games with No Style No Balls, avoiding Fiesta, building against snails, and just taking that cheeky +6 gold to start the game with.
No Ballz opted to not send.
Alright, so that definitely means that he's a tryhard.
And Drachir is forced to build his tier 2 here.
Wow. Do you build a buckler there? I mean, can double Tempest leak even to 40? I guess it can.
I think to a DT it can leak pretty hard.
I also don't like the position against the wall, because as you see, this is the rightmost Tempest and has already taken damage, and one of the really strong points from the double Tempest is that you get them to split tank.
Yeah. I think this is actually quite interesting to see NoGreed play Cartel in this way, right? Because a lot of people think that Cartel is just a carry mastermind where you just scale and push workers and try to have like the best snowball possible. But NoGreed is certainly playing this in a starvy fashion. So he hasn't spent any Mythium so far. He's using the +9 income from Cartel just to keep his build ticking over and enabling him to put some pretty high pressure onto Drachir.
Yeah, it's still 4 workers, so I think Drachir is going to be pretty good on 4 still.
I still think Drachir is just absolute garbage on 4. All NoGreed needs to do is send double turtle, and Drachir just... I mean, he's going to be insane value, right? But everything he has is just terrible.
And no style actually just saved 4 workers and only is able to push to 6 on his build's probably strongest wave with the powerful Swift Tank and the Sky Queen on wave 4.
Yeah, the problem is that Sky Queen's just so bad on wave 3, right?
Yeah.
So he couldn't really afford, and especially with this role, like, I mean, he's Chaos, right? I can't even talk about it. I've got no idea what he had on wave 3. Alright, let's see how this 80 cent does against Drachir, who is on 435 value for wave 4. He's got very good aggro.
I think the value is just going to carry him.
Yeah, very good aggro. Sea Dragon giving good heals there.
Yeah.
It'd be like 30%.
Oh, it's a hold.
It's a hold?
10%. No, I think it is a hold, yeah. So it turns out that value is all you need.
I mean, a strength of 4 workers, you just have to realize that you don't have to push to 5 workers in every single case. It's only 95% of cases you have to do it.
And Lucy going for the Hermit into the Banana Bunk on 5. I think she's going to be disappointed.
Well, how do you feel about the Butcher Oathbreaker tech there from Lucy?
I think she might struggle a bit later on in the game, but for now, it's probably her best option.
Yeah, I also think it's pretty good because she's not getting a send here on 5, so she can just drop a Berserker with Lifesteal for 6, right?
Yeah, no balls. Gamble's big. And it's going to be leaking 120% or so. Oh, he does kill the boss.
He kills the boss, okay.
Nice.
Disaster averted, because if that
Scorpion
stayed alive, that would have been terrible.
Disaster averted, disaster averted, disaster reduced a little bit. But...
yeah, reduced. Disaster reduced.
Yeah.
We do see imps, and maybe he can get to imps as well. Although he's got those underground workers that don't benefit too much from this huge leak. Yeah. He's just missing imps. Oh, he goes after income, wow.
Oh,
so this is a bit of an all-in play, and unfortunately Lucy has a Berserker on a Butcher, so she's not going to be leaking to imps. And Drachir, he's probably going to be leaking a bit, but we'll see.
Yeah.
There's the Royal Guard.
When his best option for wave 6 is a Royal Guard, you kind of know that you're in trouble, right?
But I think after this, the game will be fully in Lucy's control.
Yeah.
She can just turn on auto and kind of carry out here.
Now we do expect to see a pretty decent leak out of Drachir at least. Like this right side is just going to crumble under the pressure of a single imp.
It's not looking too good for Lucy here, I think.
Oh, actually, yeah. The double imps, it looks like, is enough damage to overpower the Lifesteal Berserker. So she's not going to leak bad, but she is going to leak, I think. And meanwhile, Drachir, he is leaking decently here. 72% there for Drachir, 28% for Lucy. And they will take some pretty nice king damage here.
Yeah.
What I will say...
Drachir's
yeah, exactly. Exactly what I wanted to say. So Drachir saves his Mythium, goes for a pack leader on 7. No Style has not got any arcane tanks in his current Chaos roll. So with 200 gold, he goes for Yozora, which I think is probably about the best he could do. He is more or less on value there with -40, but obviously his front line is pretty weak. A lot of natural HP, no arcane tanks in sight, and his only real damage is this one Sky Queen here.
Unfortunately, it means that NoGreedBallz can't really hunt his 2 pack rats, which this is kind of his strongest wave, but he has to hold the middle here.
He has to. He's getting a pretty big send himself with the double brute snail there. So the bunk is tanking one of the brutes. That's big because it means the canopy won't get overwhelmed. Even getting sniped, that's pretty solid, because now this one's going to get sniped as well. Both brutes down is a guaranteed hold now for NoGreedBallz.
And the pack
no
leader
style. Oh no, the 15% HP pack leader. Oh, that's pretty unlucky there.
It's actually, I think, pretty guaranteed with his positioning, just because the Sky Queen is on the right side. And so the Violet in that 3rd column will always be attacking the pack leader.
Yeah.
Bringing it down to just half HP. And unless
the canopy kills the pack leader, and then it gets a bit of relief from tanking, and my god.
But let's just look at the workers for a minute, because Drachir and Lucy, 22 workers between them. No style, no balls, only 18. So economically, Lucy is just running away with this one. And while she's cartel, so is NoGreedBallz.
Yeah, so that's even. And we have
NoGreedBallz does have these.
Drachir is coming online now with the Leviathan. That's gonna.
Yeah.
That's a pretty big power spike when you get that first one.
Yeah, his build is really starting to come together, and he's looking very strong now on 9. He could potentially leak on 10 if the send is big enough. But then again, he's very strong on 11, very strong on 12. Not really weak there until 13, where Lucy is strong.
He's also strong on 10. I think Leviathans are... Like, you have a few units that are so good on 10, and I think Leviathans are one of them.
Oh, Leviathan's great on 10. The thing is, if you get like an ogre or something, then a lot of those passives can be deflected.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Unfortunately, I think the more important point is that Venture's in the game, and so you're legally not allowed to send on 10.
So it's literally impossible to send on 10 then, because it's a Venture game.
Yeah.
But you cannot send 11-12 either against Drachir, it seems.
Exactly right. Yeah. Now let's see how No Style No Balls cope with these sends that they're receiving themselves, because they're not that small.
They are on value. This is really important for a No Style to hold, because he's on 8 workers, he's overvalued. Yeah. But if he leaks this, his game is pretty much over.
Absolutely right. Like he 100% has to hold here.
He's not even that good here.
No, with the Sky Queen is main damage, but he will be holding. Value is overpowered.
We've got a DPS banana bunk here for NoGreedBallz, which means that he is leaking while pretty much on value. Canopy just got ran down there by the brutes.
At least No Style has the value to hold.
At least No Style holds, yeah, that's pretty big. NoGreedBallz leaking way more than he would like, though. 63% there while on 1100 value. With bunk, with canopy, etc. I don't think he's particularly happy with the way this wave turned out.
Oh, and the brute that just... Well, it dies to the immolation.
But it's just insult to injury, right? Because No Style didn't pick up any of the cover gold for that.
Yeah.
Now, what I really want to point out, No Style stays on 9 workers, even after holding that wave 9 cents. So he only pushed 1 worker there, which says to me that they're going for a really long save already. He doesn't want to overpush. He wants to be able to hold, you know, wave 11, 12, whatever.
Yeah, he wants to be able to venture.
Going, like, straight 13.
He forgets the Seraphim, I think.
That's fine. There's no way he leaks here, right? Not with that value.
He hurt me.
Did not hunt his rats here, even with the double Daphne.
That's...
Yeah,
I forgot to ping those as well.
Oh, okay.
And they do go here. Although no balls pops for an after income round.
It must be, right?
Oh, I don't like the bunk position there. Would have put it at least.
That's for the hero value.
Oh, Drachir just goes hero.
Yeah. In which case, I think it's pretty good positioning, right?
Yeah, I guess it's... Yeah, that makes it better.
Maybe NoBallz just goes hard in for the starve. Look at this, though! 52 income on wave 11.
Oh, you cannot do that.
Holy moly, NoBallz is all in here.
And we see the witch snails against Lucy. But Lucy has a pulverizer cannon.
I do not love this from the No Balls, No Styles camp.
I think they probably just have to suicide now, right? For 13. I don't see any other line of play, really. NoBallz is just so all in on this game with the
and No Styles went venture.
Yeah.
But that's not really a great way to scale into this game. Lucy's barely leaking, feeding her shutdown.
Shutdown is something at least, but it's just...
Yeah, but 25 gold is...
Meanwhile, No Style, he's barely holding his income send. NoBallz leaks a decent amount, let's say, to the income send himself. And now they're going to take a decent bit of king damage as well.
I would definitely favor Drachir and Lucy here. They just have to make a couple of the correct reads, and they should be pretty bone free after this 13.
The worker count is even, but the income is not.
Yeah, I mean, Lucy's just going to shift 300 gold here because obviously she's amazing on this wave, and she's just going to drop a Sovereign for wave 13, and then what are you going to do, right?
Yeah.
Lifesteal Sovereign plus Berserker, and of course we saw No Style spent his Mythium on wave 11 to get a baby leak on Lucy.
So, and there's also the Pulverizer Vulcan Cannon, which, like, when you have fast attacking Pulverizer against 13, the wave, it's like there's only 5 creeps from the start doing damage.
And look at this as well. NoBallz, 535 undervalue while being 12 workers. Now, sure, he's got a couple of rats underground, so that's 150 value, but still is massively undervalued. 52 income, just not quite cutting it on wave 12.
And
he'd love to actually leak here if he can.
Oh, he holds because of the stuns.
Yeah.
Both, like the Pulverizer Daphne managed to stun when it was tanking, and then the other guy, the other one was stunned as well.
Pretty solid.
Just before they both died.
And Lucy has a full Sovereign with the Butcher.
Alright, so how is Drachir going to cope with a Kraken? He's very undervalued, but I don't see Lucy leaking here. Certainly not to a Mimic Dragon Turtle. He's got Lifesteal Sovereign, Lifesteal Berserker, Pulverizer on her Vulcan Cannon. I'm fairly confident Lucy just covers here.
Yeah. There's so much tank value before the Sovereign.
And meanwhile, if we have a look over at No Style, NoBallz, well, that's a different story. NoBallz is not holding this. The only question is whether No Style is going to hold, and then if that's going to be well enough to cover.
I mean, No Style does have the Council buff and the Arctear.
Drachir leaks decently there, 129%. NoBallz leaks 100% of his own. Lucy, as expected, is holding her lane, and No Style is holding his. But I don't know if he's got quite the same power level mid that Lucy does with her Lifesteal Sovereign on full stacks, just easily full covering that. So a decent chunk of king damage on the side of No Style, NoBallz, and their only line of play now is to suicide push on No Style, and it looks like he's going for it.
I mean, they're both suicide pushing.
Well, they have to, right? Because NoBallz isn't holding anything either.
But they're gonna be leaking 14 no send, and then 15 they're just gonna be leaking so much faster, even though their sends are gonna be bigger.
And Drachir, reading this, is going for the push of his own. So Drachir now 2100 value, putting all of his gold into workers there, 22. So we are going to see a wave 15 race once again. The problem is that Lucy's just going to hold longest.
Yeah, there's no way around it. We also have the Iron Maiden now on Lucy.
Now, No Style did not manage to Chaos Roll an Arcane Tank for the wave 15 send, so that's going to make his covering job that much harder.
No Style did hit the best unit in the game to stall, though.
The Orchid, you mean?
The Looter. Just Looter spam here.
Okay, so he just builds a million looters.
Yeah.
But they're both leaking here.
Leaks. I mean,
they actually might be dead.
No Style managed to get his Sky Queen killed here somehow. So yeah, I think the game is over to no send.
Nah, it's only 9 creeps.
No Style, no Balls, no send, no win.
And no style, no balls, no send, no king.
Yeah, I think they're going for no king.
Yeah, they're dead.
Oh yeah, they're just it's just over.
Natural causes GG. A little bit anticlimactic. I kind of wanted to see that wave 15 race play out, but to be honest, it was only going one way. Drachir and Lucy were going to win that race on wave 15, I'm pretty sure.
Lucy just... Alright, Lucy actually just had 35 more value than...
Than No Style,
Than No Style, yeah, but...
But No Style was going to receive a much bigger send because Drachir was suicide pushing. So No Style was going to get an extra 100 Mythium at least, and there's just no way that he can hold for longer than Lucy with that kind of pressure, I think, especially with Lucy having Canopy and Iron Maiden on the field.
Yeah, Lucy only had like the Butcher as a natural, and then a couple of fortified things. Yeah. But other than that, it was Swift and Arcane.
Yeah.
Whereas there was no Arcane at all on No Style.
Interesting game. Interesting game, for sure. I think I would love to have seen No Style, No Balls go for a 7 send as well. But I can understand their 6 play there, maybe feeling a bit of pressure. Maybe No Style needed the gold as well for his Violet. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, they didn't really get the damage done on 6 that they needed, and then leaking 88% there. So the resend on No Style was kind of crushing. Wave 9 was pretty good for the duo. But No Balls, 52 income on wave 11, like, he was just absolutely all in for this wave 13 play, and as soon as Lucy holds that, it's pretty much game over, right?
Yeah.
Pretty interesting series. I think we can probably say the expected outcome. Drachir and Lucy, obviously heavily favoured, at least in terms of elo. But No Style and No Balls for sure put up a fight in this one. Winning game 1, and for sure making Drachir and Lucy sweat a little bit in game 2 and 3. Like, these guys know how to apply pressure, 100%.